You have probably grown basil before, watched it shoot straight up, flower, and turn bitter in what felt like a matter of days. One week it looks great, the next week it is covered in flower spikes and the leaves taste like something you would rather not put in your mouth. That is not bad luck. That is a pruning problem, and it is one of the easiest things in the garden to fix once you see how basil actually grows. Today, I am walking you through exactly how to prune basil, so it stays bushy, productive, and delicious for months on end. Stay until the end, because I have got a trick for turning every single cutting into a brand new plant for free. Let us get into it. A single basil plant can produce enough leaves to keep your kitchen stocked all season long. No more $3 plastic clamshells from the grocery store that wilt in 2 days. Once you understand how to prune properly, one plant does the work of 10. We are going to cover how basil growth actually works, where exactly to make your cuts, how to shape the plant for maximum production, and how to stop flowers from ever taking over. First up, understanding what is happening inside that plant. Basil grows from a single main stem, pushing upward toward one goal: flowering. Every basil plant is on a mission to produce flowers, set seed, and call it a season. The growth hormone that drives this upward push concentrates at the very tip of each stem, a point called the apical node. As long as that tip stays intact, the plant keeps funneling energy straight up. Tall, leggy, sparse. Cut that tip off and something remarkable happens. The hormone redistributes to the 2 small nodes sitting just below the cut. Those nodes activate, each one pushing out its own stem. 1 stem becomes 2. 2 become 4. 4 become 8. Every single prune doubles the growing points on the plant. Picture a stem that looks like a person with 2 arms reaching upward. That is exactly what happens at each cut point. The plant cannot help itself. Remove the top, and it branches outward, getting wider and bushier every time. That basic biology is the entire foundation of everything we are about to do. Finding the right spot to cut is the difference between a plant that explodes with growth and one that stalls out. Look closely at any basil stem, and you will see pairs of small leaves emerging from the sides at regular intervals. Those pairs are nodes, and they are your cutting targets. Follow a stem upward from the soil and count the leaf pairs. At least 2 full pairs should remain below wherever you make your cut. Cutting too low removes too much foliage, and the plant struggles to photosynthesize enough energy to recover. Too high, and you leave a long bare stem that just dries out without producing new branches. Right above a node pair with 2 sets of leaves still below it. That is the sweet spot. Grab a clean pair of scissors or pruning snips. Pinching with your fingernails works fine on tender young growth, but a clean cut heals faster and reduces the chance of crushing the stem. Position your scissors about a 1/4 inch above the node pair you have chosen. A clean snip at a slight angle keeps water from pooling on the cut surface. Within 5 to 7 days, those 2 tiny leaf nodes below the cut will push outward into full new stems, each with its own set of leaves. 1 cut, 2 new branches, twice the basil. That first prune is the hardest one psychologically, because it feels like you are destroying a perfectly healthy plant. You are not. You are telling it to multiply. After the first prune, each of those 2 new stems will grow upward and eventually develop their own node pairs. The same logic applies again. Let each new stem grow until it has 2 or 3 node pairs of its own, then cut above the lowest pair. 2 stems become 4. Give those 4 stems a few weeks, prune again, and you have 8. A basil plant pruned this way 3 or 4 times looks completely different from an unpruned one. Wide, dense, loaded with leaves, and shaped almost like a small shrub instead of a single lanky stalk. The key is consistency. Every 2 to 3 weeks during active growing season, go through the plant and prune any stem that has developed 3 or more node pairs. Shape it as you go, keeping the overall canopy even so light reaches all parts of the plant. Lopsided growth means one side gets shaded out and stops producing. Everything I have covered so far is a solid start, but it is really just scratching the surface. If you want the full system laid out step by step, I put together a guide called the 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol. It takes everything I know about growing food from kitchen scraps and organizes it into a day-by-day plan that anyone can follow. It covers which scraps actually regrow successfully and which ones people waste their time on. It walks you through the setup so you get it right from day one. And it gives you a complete 30-day calendar, so there is no guesswork involved. Click the link in the description right below this video. Just scroll down a little and you will see it. Or if you are watching on a television or a computer screen, take out your phone, open up your camera like you are going to take a picture, and hold it up to the QR code on screen right now. A little link will pop up at the top of your phone screen. Just tap that, and it will take you right to the guide. No typing, no searching. Either way works. I honestly think it is the best thing you can do for your garden this season. Right, back to the basil. Flowers are the finish line for basil. Once a plant starts blooming, leaf production slows dramatically and the flavor turns bitter and harsh. Preventing flowers is really just aggressive pruning on a schedule. Flower buds form at the tips of stems, appearing as tight clusters of tiny leaves that look slightly different from regular growth. More compact, more pointed, sometimes with a faint color change. The moment you spot one, pinch it off immediately. Do not wait for it to open. Even partially developed flowers send a chemical signal through the plant that says, "Slow down on the leaves. We are making seeds." Catching buds early keeps that signal from ever firing. A well-pruned plant that gets topped every 2 to 3 weeks rarely even attempts to flower because the growing tips where buds form keep getting removed before they have the chance. Consistent pruning and flower prevention together are what keep a single basil plant producing from late spring all the way into fall. Under good conditions, 4 to 6 months of continuous harvest from one plant is completely realistic. Leggy stems with wide gaps between leaf pairs mean the plant is not getting enough light. Basil needs a minimum of 6 hours of direct sun. 8 is better. If you are growing indoors, a south-facing window or a simple grow light positioned 6 to 8 inches above the canopy solves this fast. Wilting leaves on a plant that has been recently watered usually indicate root stress rather than thirst. Overwatering basil is more common than underwatering. Let the top inch of soil dry between waterings. If the soil stays soggy, root rot sets in and the whole plant collapses seemingly overnight. Black spots on leaves, especially after pruning, typically come from dirty cutting tools introducing bacteria. A quick wipe of your scissors with rubbing alcohol before each session prevents this entirely. A plant that refuses to branch after pruning was probably cut too low, below the last viable node pair. If 2 healthy leaf sets remain below the cut, branching should begin within a week. No visible nodes below the cut means the stem has nothing to activate. Every piece of basil you prune off can become a new plant. Take any cutting that is 3 to 4 inches long, strip the leaves from the bottom 2 inches, and drop it into a glass of water on a windowsill. Within 7 to 10 days, white roots appear at the submerged nodes. Once those roots reach about 2 inches long, plant the cutting in moist potting soil, and you have a fully independent basil plant. A single pruning session from a mature plant can easily yield 5 or 6 cuttings. That is 5 or 6 new plants from what most people throw in the compost. Do this once a month through the growing season, and you will never need to buy basil seeds or transplants again. That is everything you need to keep basil growing and producing all season long. What I have walked you through today gives you a strong foundation, but it is still just one part of the bigger picture. I would encourage you to check out the guide I put together. It is called the 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol. It is everything I have figured out about kitchen scrap gardening, laid out in a day-by-day plan you can start right away. It covers which scraps are genuinely worth regrowing and which ones to skip. It gives you the complete setup method, so nothing is left to chance. And it includes the full 30-day schedule, so you always know exactly what comes next. There are 2 easy ways to get it. The first is to click the link in the description right below this video. Just scroll down a little, and you will see it. The second way, if you are watching on a television or a computer screen, is to take out your phone, open up your camera like you are going to take a picture, and hold it up to the QR code you see on screen right now. A little link will pop up at the top of your phone screen. Just tap that, and it will bring you right to the guide. No typing, no searching. Either way works. I think it is the best investment you can make in your garden this year. That is everything you need to keep basil growing and producing all season long. If this helped, I would appreciate a subscribe and a tap on the bell so you do not miss the next guide. Got questions or want to share how your basil is doing? Drop a comment. Thanks for watching and happy growing.